Candy SCL is about to tell me why the main plan isn't going to work. Okay, why do you even need the water? All it does is will mess you up. I strongly think Neil will fuck you on it. It will wash away the darkness stone. It will also alert them instantly. If it blows away the walls, the guards will come and stuff. What it does...
Yes, the power is mine.
It only brings in variables into the fight that Neil will exploit. Alright, so... Alert the guards. I'm seeing an issue here. Alert the guards, right. Alert the enemy. Although I don't necessarily think that alerting the enemy at this point is a problem. Wash away darkness stone. What else do you have? It brings variables that Neil will exploit. Alright. Okay. These are all pretty good reasons. Let's try and address them. Alert the guards. Well, I think this is inevitable. Bandits to distract. That was the plan. Alert the enemy. This was always meant to be the opening salvo. So, I don't think it matters for that reason. Maybe not if it's on the chimney. Either way, they just leave the house. I mean, and this last thing, that is true. Okay, so my question is, if I don't use the water, say I don't use the water, what's stopping them just getting their armor on? Using some sort of dispel wand or something to break the darkness stone, or just pull out a light stone. They pull out a light stone, they get all their armor on, they come out of the house. Like, what's stopping there? They will drown in darkness and in silence. It'll be based. It would be based. I mean, if they drowned in the house without anyone knowing, unable to open the door because Anton's blocking it with the shield wall, like, that would actually be so fucking cool. Why do you need to leave the house? They can run away from darkness. That's what I'm saying. They'll leave the house. They alerted by you being on the roof before you do anything, the guy on guard? I don't know. That implies the guy on guard is outside, which I don't think he necessarily will be. If he is, then we might be able to, like, draw him away from the house and kill him on his own. Ethereal assassinate the wizard is easily the best plan. Also, they 100% have their armor on. Why would they have their armor on when they're sleeping? I don't think they will. There are alarm spells on all entrances, yeah, but this plan wouldn't trigger the alarm spell. The alarm spell is triggered by anything larger than a giant rat, which case the stones will not be. And I won't be going inside the house, so. That's why you need the water. If they're in silence and in darkness and an ultra-pressurized water current, it'll be as if you're in the Marina Trench, you just drown and die. It would be so cool if that happens. I can't see them drowning. I don't think that will happen that they drown, but it would be incredibly funny if they did. I think the problem will be that the portal will be larger than the chimney, and therefore the roof will smash. The house will still fill with water, but now it'll fill with water and rubble, and it's arguably worse for them. What's your plan if they do get out of the house? Well, I'm planning for them to get out of the house, but think about how them getting out of the house looks like with all the water. They open the door, they get flooded out with the water, okay? They're no longer silenced, they're no longer in darkness, but they're probably not fully equipped and armed. They're also on their arse, covered in water, whilst Tyrell and Anton are there with readied attacks. So they get their readied attacks off. And I would then argue they get, like, a surprise round or some bonus to initiative as well. Like, they're on the floor, covered in water, not ready to be, like, ganked. What if you appeal to the weapons during the fight? If you announce that you're taking these weapons to fight a dragon that's more powerful than any of this party has fought, the weapons might help you during the fight. That's cool, Big Bear. It's a cool idea. I don't think it would work. Just because I just can't see Neil letting that happen. And I feel like not sure how the weapons could help us if they're literally in their hands, but I do like the idea, and I think, you know, something like that could work. What if you web? How would they get out? Well, that is a good plan, actually. Because if you cast web on them, what happens? I feel like if you cast web down the chimney, they all are automatically webbed. Thing is, what do we do then? They're webbed inside the house. What can we actually do? I don't really understand this bit. Are you saying that this is like the weak point of the house? My feet won't touch the roof, Monk, and I'll be flying above the roof, above the chimney. No way all of them have a ring of free action? I mean, they might. They are going into a swamp. How powerful is that wizard? Like level 7 or 8, I think. The weapons wake the guys up. Can they somehow sense you, or maybe dragon armor scales? They can sense invisible creatures. The hammer can sense invisible creatures, which is why we can't be invisible. What if this is not the same wizard that's killed all the dragons? What if their wizard died and they got a new one? The size of a house, 15 foot by 15 foot, which Neil calculated on the stream, implies that it's level 7 or 8. How are you going to loot their corpses? Neil's going to say guards are coming fast. Well, the plan is to have the bandits that were with distract the guards. But even if that doesn't work, like, how powerful are the guards going to be? Like, I think we'll be able to loot them and get the fuck out. Can you downcast a spell? Or cast the spell into the ground to have a basement unseen from the outside? No, I don't think you could cast it into the ground. I think you can downrank spells. He never let me do it in Hardcore Heroes, but I don't see why the wizard would cast it at a lower level. Like, what's the reason? What if they don't come out? I think eventually they'll have no choice but to come out, because I think what will probably happen is the roof will collapse. Or the door will, like, smash open from the force of all the water, and they'll be, like, jettisoned out. The silence might wake them, but by the time the silence stone is near them, it's going to be go time. Like, I'm going to come from above, I'm going to be flying down. I'm going to drop those 2 stones, and I'm casting the water portal in the same round. So they haven't really got much time to wake up and do anything. If you fight outside, you'll lose. There'll be guards. Maybe. I don't think the guards are much of an issue. Like, who can the guards hit? They'll need a 20 to hit anyone. Learn ballroom dancing from Neil IRL to convince Neil to give you the skill. I'm not sure I could handle Neil teaching me to ballroom dance. That would be the ultimate bromance. No, it would be too much. It wouldn't be enough. It would be too much. We already watched the sunset together on a beach. It was very romantic. I think ballroom dancing lessons is maybe a bit too far. You mean you don't let your homies touch your back and pull you close? And there's nothing wrong with it, Charos. If that's how you roll, it's just not my thing. I don't have a problem with dancing with the homies, as you want to put it. Did you hold hands? My hand might have glanced his when I passed him the joint. Neil learned those skills to get proficiency bonuses in campaigns where he was a player. Yeah, true. What do you mean I can't have a +1 with quarterstaff? Watch this. Picks up the pole cue. And we all know what happens next. Alright, we're going to speak to Neil for a little bit.
What's up?
Hey, Neil. So, I was looking at...
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. I was looking at the weapon specialization options when I realized that I might not need 2 weapon fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at the bit that says local fighting styles, right? And then the last bit at the end says... I'm not even looking at the examples they give here. It says, rapier and main gauche specialization may provide the character with an extra block or trap maneuver with his main gauche. And I realized that I have got no idea what that is, main gauche. So I looked it up. And it's like, people would fight with a rapier in their main hand. And they'd have like a dagger in their offhand with like a shield around the hand, and they'd use it to parry other swords so that they could like attack with their main hand. And I thought, I'm already doing like main hand rapier, offhand dagger anyway. So what if I did that instead? That might be quite cool, mightn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So they say here that you could take rapier and gauche specialization that would give you like a free block basically with your offhand. What do you think about that?
Weapon proficiency slot dedicated to rapier gauche fighting style. So when you have a rapier and a gauche, you get a block with your offhand.
Yeah, so you can still do the attack with the dagger, but you also get a free block with it.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
So I like
That
to
would
see
give
it.
you 1 free block around and 2 attacks around.
Well, I've got rapier expertise, so on every other round it would be 3 attacks.
2.5 attacks
Yeah.
per round, plus 1 block around.
Yeah. Seems pretty good, right?
Yeah, seems pretty good. Seems perfect for a pirate.
Nice. Okay, while I've got you here as well, can I ask you another couple of things? It's related to Tombs of Scoria, though.
Sure.
Did we ever say that for casting spells on stones, like light or darkness or silence, is there a minimum size that the stone has to be?
Like, could you cast darkness on a grain of sand, for example?
Okay, well, I'm not thinking that small. I'm thinking like a pebble as opposed to a stone.
Well, let's take it to its natural limits then. Could you cast it on something as small of a grain of sand? If not, then there's got to be some line somewhere. If so, then pebble is also acceptable. Light says continual light says over long periods of time it may degrade or just damage the quality of something,
Yeah.
right? So I think continual light on a grain of sand would probably fizzle pretty quickly. But if you wanted to cast light or continual light or darkness on something of that size for a short period of time, it's an interesting question.
Yeah. It has implications for tomorrow.
I don't see anything in the rules that says you can't, but I feel like this is an area that's potentially rife for abuse. But maybe not. I don't know why, unless you're like in a sandy area, casting it on something as small as a grain of sand isn't really going to help you. So whether it's a pebble or a rock or a stone or however you want to qualify it, it seems pretty sensible.
Yeah?
I mean,
if the problem with doing it on a grain of sand is like you'd lose track of it yourself.
you'd instantly lose track of it the moment it left your fingers.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily like problematic, right?
Not
Any
necessarily.
situation in which one of these things would be like weird, you could also just say that it's been cast in an area, right? Like if you cast it on a pebble and you lose track of the pebble,
Yeah.
then like it's essentially just cast in an AoE rather than on an object, right? So the smaller an object gets, the harder it is to find, which could be useful and also could be like not useful. So I think if it gets to an object that's small enough, then trying to locate that object, even if you're the one who cast it, might require perception checks or something, or some check to find it.
It'd be quite hard
What do
to
you think
find, though,
about
to be
doing that?
fair, right? Well, I don't know what
Yeah.
to tell you. I kind of trust you. The reason I feel like my stream would be upset if I were to tell you the plan, but I might just do it anyway, because I trust you not to
Who do you
metagame us
love
too
more,
much.
Nick?
Well, obviously you, Neil.
Well, see. Thank you.
Okay. I can't help myself. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to tell Neil the plan. All right. So, Learman secure shelter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got a chimney, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if you just drop a silent stone and a darkness stone into the chimney?
A silence and a darkness stone into the chimney.
Yeah.
Well, assuming that they have an area that covers the entirety of the house, the whole house would be darkened and silenced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Assuming that it would spread to cover that. So that seems to work pretty reasonably.
So the reason I asked about the size is because the spell says there's a grate on the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, like, how small can the stone be? Would it still fit through the grate?
Yeah. I don't see why you couldn't cast it on something small enough that you could drop through the grate, or just, stand above the grate and cast the spells down.
Well, that's the thing. Can silence... It can't just be cast in the area, right? It has to be cast on a thing, doesn't it?
Silence 15-foot radius?
Yeah. Like, because I thought you either cast it on a person or you cast it on an object.
Silence prevails in the affected area. All sound is stopped. Conversation is impossible. Spells cannot be cast. No noise issues from those who enter.
So that works just as well, actually. Although the thing is, you can have it already pre-cast, can't you, on a stone?
Mm-hmm.
So because you could, you could drop 2 stones and then do some, cast another spell in the same round, right?
If you had the stones prepped in such a way that they were just in your hand, then you would be able to drop them probably as a free action.
Yeah.
And then do whatever you want. You might still be within the silence or the darkness AoE.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you probably would still be in it. Yeah. I suppose. Yeah. It's unfortunate. You probably need a spell that doesn't have verbal components.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thought last night was awesome. By the way, the cleric bit was really cool with the Winter God. The Cthulhu God.
Could have been you, Nick.
Could have been me. Yeah. It's okay. Although I am worried about his ability to keep it a secret.
Well, you know, you
'Cause
can
this-
always just have an epic death.
It sounded like he has to say the god's name every time he casts a spell, right?
It's part of, yeah, it's one of the verbal components is calling to this power of his.
So it's going to be tough for him to play that off mid-combat. Like, maybe against other people, sure, but in the party, he's going to be like, what is this weird thing you keep saying?
Well, you know, you're casting spells. There's verbal components to all your spells. Most people probably wouldn't recognize one name in a string of a casting, right? Unless there is someone with like a spellcraft proficiency who keeps noticing, like,
Oh, so he doesn't
one
just...
phrase
Does he
pop up.
only have to say that, or will he have to use the verbal components of the spell?
No, you still need the
plus
verbal
that?
components. You
Ah.
still cast it all, but like the name is a segment of the verbal
Okay,
components.
yeah, that makes it less obvious.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, well, I have some good ideas from time to time.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, occasionally.
Over the years.
Not all the time.
Not all
But
the time.
every 6 months or so, I get a good idea.
You get one good one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, I think. Cheers, Neil.
Coolio. Take care, man.
All right, see you later. Oh, shit. That is impressive. How fast he's going, guys. It's out of control.